Welcome back to the CityCURRENT Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And we love having our CityCURRENT partners come on. And in this case, we're talking technology. We are joined by Amit Kanda. He is the Executive Vice President and COO, Chief Operating Officer of ProTech Services Group. How are you doing, Amit?
Great, Jeremy. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. It is a pleasure always to talk to you, and we are very excited about our partnership with the cityCURRENT and all the good that cityCURRENT does. So we are very excited about that.
Hey, well, you are a partner indeed that helps us power the good, so we appreciate that. And let's dive into your world of technology and innovation and efficiencies. But give us a little background. When you talk about ProTech Services Group, give us a little context for the company overall, and then we'll dive into everything that's going on in your world.
Sure, absolutely. So, this is a great time for ProTech Services Group. In fact, we are celebrating our 30th anniversary this year. So very excited about that. The company started off with the initial days of the internet, and we have been able to serve not just the Memphis market, but the greater Memphis area. And we have clients all over the globe that we have been able to assist with technology. So ProTech Services Group, our main goal is to help companies leverage technology for three main purposes: for growth, for security, and to enable them to really enhance their operations activities so that they can really put technology to good use. And that's what we strive for. We have 6 divisions real quick under ProTech Services Group. First is our staffing division, so placement services with a very heavy focus on IT. The second is our hardware division, resellers of all major hardware products and services. The third is our managed services, where we really go in and help our clients on everything from the on-prem desktop, laptop, to the data center, cloud, Office 365, and really help them get a handle of their technology needs and technology requirements. The fourth is our telecom division, everything related to connectivity. And I think if anything, pandemic showed us how important connectivity is. So everything from your internet circuits to voice services in the cloud is covered under our telecom group. The next division is our security division, where we provide security services ranging from the endpoint protection to managed firewalls, to managed phishing, pen testing, and security awareness, which given today's day and age is very important. And last but not least is our support desk as a service division, where we provide level 1 and level 2 support desk services 24/7, 365 in English and in Spanish. So that's an overview of ProTech. We are very proud that we are headquartered right here in Memphis, and we're also proud to say that we have 110 employees and growing.
Well, and as you alluded, you do a lot, but it's obviously focused on the core of infrastructure, technology, innovation, making sure that companies are running smoothly, but as you mentioned, can focus on their growth. And one of the big things about what you do is you like to partner with organizations and really find ways that you can take and offload a lot of the things that you can do quickly, easily, efficiently, and so that they can really focus on the things that are core for them. Talk about partnership and what that means in terms of ProTech Services Group and you're working with your clients.
Absolutely. Partnership is the key. When it comes to technology, partnership is key for what we do and what we provide to all our clients. With the IT teams already being stretched so thin across organizations, we go in and we offer to take off the tasks, what we call as the mundane tasks, the day-to-day tasks. Were the servers patched? Was the backup service run correctly? And did the DR services replicate? And is my endpoint, the antivirus, up to date? So these are just day-to-day mundane activities that we saw that a lot of IT organizations spend a lot of time doing, and they are stretched thin. There are very few organizations, the Fortune 500s, who are very lucky to have 40, 50, 70, or maybe a couple of hundred employees in their IT organization. But for most part, the IT teams in most organizations are stretched thin, and we want to take that off their plate so they can really focus on the growth of the business. They can focus on the application side and assist their business with bringing in revenue rather than being focused on running the back office.
One of the divisions you mentioned is security. And obviously, when you talk about cybersecurity, security, this is of huge importance because every company, nonprofit organization, everyone kind of faces this issue of phishing and cyber attacks and everything. And so talk about kind of this trend of security and your focus on it, especially when it comes to protecting your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. So, security, it's so critical in today's day and age. And with the pandemic, it just really put a lot of focus on why it is so important. So I will just give you one stat that just came out, is that in the US last year, companies spent about an average of $3.4 billion in ransomware payouts. The federal government is predicting that to double, $6.8 billion in ransomware payouts. If you just think about that number, there are some nations that don't have their GDP at that number. So this is just US alone. And why security has become so critical these days is, again, as a result of the pandemic, now the workforce is spread out. Everybody used to be in one office and companies were like, hey, let's put this big firewall up front. Nobody's coming in. We are, solid here. No worries about anybody coming in. Now with the workforce so distributed, everybody logging in from Starbucks to hotels to their home offices, the security element has gone to the edge. So the edge security is what has become so critical. And organizations that have to follow compliance, there are HIPAA guidelines, there are SOC guidelines, there are NIST guidelines that have to be followed. And that's where we come in. We bring in our expertise to say, let us handle. We will provide an all-encompassing solution which goes from your data center or from the in-house to the edge, and we will monitor it, manage it, and we will help you get compliant as well if you have to follow any compliance requirements.
Obviously, that in and of itself is an important tip. Give us, when, kind of putting on your public speaker hat, give us one or two tips on your end when it comes to what organizations should do to protect themselves and their employees. I mean, I'm thinking like the ongoing training and things like that. What's maybe one or two other just tips?
Absolutely. One of the, and I'm drawing a blank on the latest stat I read, but the biggest ransomware threat is clicking on something. Organizations get hit the hardest when somebody clicks on a link where it's like, oh, here is a $25 free Starbucks card. I'm telling you, Starbucks is not giving away free gift cards. So that is the most common, is the phishing attacks. And what we tell organizations is exactly what you hit on, it is right, is the security awareness training. Just educating the employees about, if it looks too good to be true, think about it. Just take 10 seconds, evaluate, look at the email address. If your CFO is sending you a note to say, run to Walmart and get a $100 gift card, please, please, please don't look at that email. Don't look at that text message, and especially don't go to get a gift card, so that's the key. And it's the training. We actually have a Microsoft certified trainer who specializes in providing training around the security and the Microsoft suite. And we provide this service at no charge to our clients because we believe that education is the best, way to counteract this attack and be able to gain security internally within an organization.
And just like anything, it's ongoing training, ongoing, making sure that it's ongoing communication to make sure that it remains top of mind for everybody. And obviously, it, like you said, it has to permeate the organization. So every employee from top to bottom, making sure that everyone is being vigilant to protect, because at the end of the day, you're protecting your asset for your company. Talk about moving to the cloud, because I feel like, when you talk about digital transformation and cloud, that cloud has become kind of a buzzword over the last, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. But what does that mean for companies in terms of digital transformation, efficiencies, and being more productive?
Yeah, absolutely. Cloud adoption has really taken off over the last 6 to 7 years. And why it is so important for organizations is the speed to market and having that agility to be able to make changes on the fly, not having to rely on hardware procurement. We all are facing the supply chain issues. No matter what industry you are in, everybody's facing the supply chain issues. So while we have clients who are waiting on servers that are going to be shipped somewhere in May or June, we have other clients who adopted the cloud and they can turn on the resources on demand. Basically, we get a call and we can turn on 10 servers within a couple of hours rather than having to order them. So that's where the key is, the speed to market. The key is the speed to make the change and being able to have your teams collaborate as well. Office 365 is a perfect example. It's a full suite from Outlook to the entire Office suite to Teams, where you can do collaboration both through voice and video. And those things, you can add users pretty much on the fly. All you got to do is just create a new user. There you go. You have conference rooms in there. So while the teams are now becoming truly global and the companies want to take advantage of the cloud where they can bring these global teams together. So the key is speed to market and the ability to change pretty much on demand. And I think that's what's really driving the cloud adoption. And in this day and age, we tell every client, you should have some kind of a cloud presence, because in case, going back to that security risk, something happens to your hardware, you have the ability to go into the cloud, spin up your servers, spin up your collaboration tools, and still keep doing business.
Yeah, you can get back in action fast. Go back to the training, because I think this is a really interesting component. And because you and I were talking, we were having a meeting prior to this a few weeks ago. We were talking about how a lot of companies have the Microsoft suite, but they don't really use it. And there's a lot of organizations that have a portfolio of software, but they're not really using it. And so to your point, you're like, companies are paying all these extra things for things that they already have access to over here. They just don't realize it. And so that's where the training really can come in. So talk about the training on your end and where that leads companies to find efficiencies, cost savings, and tools that they already have.
Absolutely. And every organization and everybody, when the pandemic hit, everybody ran to look for tools, right? And believe me, it is definitely understandable. So there were tools that got leverage from Cisco WebEx to Zoom to Dropbox to any kind of online tool that companies could leverage to keep their teams together was used. However, what we have seen is that companies have some tools that they are absolutely not leveraging. And I will go back to the Office 365 platform. Office 365 is a very well-built, all-encompassing platform. You have your regular Outlook for communication, just emails. You have the suite of Excel, Word, PowerPoint to do your day-to-day work. Then you have Teams, where you can collaborate both through voice services and video. So we know companies have Office 365, but they don't know, oh, I didn't know I could leverage Teams for video collaboration. So they have that Zoom. Then the Office 365 has OneDrive, where organizations are, oh, I don't know, I'm using Dropbox or Google Drive or something. So that's, again, going back to your point of training, we go in and we spend a lot of time educating our clients to say, before you go out and start buying new tools or even the tools that you have in place, let's evaluate them. Let's bring you the value of what you already have so that you can bring in the cost savings. And the biggest point is one single platform for collaboration. So that's where the training is so important and the education part is so important.
Talk about the value of having the local team. On your end, you mentioned it at the onset, but you have a local team, obviously, when it comes to the service, but also to any sort of troubleshooting, the help desk. So talk about what that means in terms of speed, efficiency, having somebody who can dive right in, but locally, that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we have a very large engineering team. We have three different groups that the engineering team is divided into. One is the support desk team. The second is our network operation team. And then the third is our field engineering team. And they go basically in that order of all the initial level 1, level 2 calls are handled by our support desk team, which is again local here. If they are not able to resolve it, they will hand it over to our network operations center team, which is local again here and has the ability to work with our field team to dispatch them out to a client side if they see that an issue needs to be handled on site. I'll just walk you through a very quick example is a client calls in and says, hey, I'm completely down. Okay, the level 1 person takes the call, does some initial troubleshooting and says, hey, I cannot access any servers or firewalls, hands it over to the NOC team. They look at it and say, okay, well, it clearly is that every system is offline, but we don't know why they are offline. They will immediately call our field engineering team and say, can you go to the client side and see what's going on? Could be something as simple as a power outage, but could be that the system has completely just maybe it was old or maybe it was having some issues and has shut down. So we have the ability to respond very, very quickly to a client's need and get on site from handling everything coming in level 1 all the way to sending a field engineer on site and getting a resolution to the problem.
Well, like anything with all of us with technology, we just want it to work. And when it doesn't work, that's a massive business disruption. And so getting it to work is so important.
Absolutely.
Talk about philanthropy, because one of the things that I love about ProTech Services Group is your commitment to community. And as we're talking about having the local team, Memphis-based, your commitment to community is really, really strong. And so you work with nonprofits, you support nonprofits, you give back, you're creative in so many ways, you volunteer, and you're actively physically engaged. But talk about the commitment to community when it comes to your company.
Absolutely. As we joined cityCURRENT for that very reason. We want to give back. We are very, very closely tied in with a lot of nonprofits. Some of the key ones that we interact with almost on a very, very regular basis is the Streets Ministries. Our CEO, Dan Weddle, is on the board of Streets Ministries. So we are very engaged with them. The other group is the Boys and Girls Club. We actually have been partners with Boys and Girls Club for over 20 years, and we are their official IT partner as well. So we sponsor a lot of events. We do the annual golf event with them. We do the charity events with them, the annual toys collection event that we do with them. So that's very near and dear to our heart. Another community involvement is our engagement with Tech 901. We believe that we should raise the talent here and maintain it and keep it here. So we work closely with Tech 901 to tell them what we see as coming up from a technology standpoint, and we hire from Tech 901. We are very proud to say that in the last year, we've hired 7 Tech 901 candidates, and 4 of them are still with us. We trained them. The other 3, gained more experience and went on to bigger companies. But we're very proud of the fact that we are able to get the local talent and keep growing them right here in our city.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Give me one more thing that you wish everyone knew about ProTech Services Group.
Well, the biggest thing that I wish everybody knew is that we are an all-encompassing solutions and service provider. We don't box anybody into what we believe is right. We will tailor the services to a client's need. That's the biggest thing that I wish everybody knew is that it's not one shoe fits all. So, we never try to fit a round peg in a square hole. So we will tailor the services. We want you as our client to get the best return on your investment and feel that we are bringing value as a technology services provider.
Yeah, and that goes back to that partnership, that collaboration. Talk about website. So where do we go to learn more? Where do we go to reach out and find you? ProTech Services Group. So where do we go?
Yes, you go to www.psgi.net and you can find, that's our website. You can go in there. You can find us on LinkedIn as well, ProTech Services Group, and then Twitter as well. But I would recommend everybody go to our website, psgi.net, and you can contact us and we'll be very happy to reach out and provide any assistance and education that we can related to technology.
Yeah, love it. Well, Amit, thank you for your cityCURRENT partnership and everything you do in the community to power the good. Greatly appreciate it. And thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. It's always a pleasure.